All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Instagram. I'm pretty sure that you're seeing me on TikTok. And we're not live on Instagram at all. I don't know why I said that. Good morning, everybody. 253-263-1540. 253-263-1540. We got a lot to talk about. I have no idea what we're going to talk about. I am so sleep deprived. We have been doing this marathon for what are meant to be the last days of TikTok. So we're going to take your calls. I have half a voice. 253-263-1540. I can only assume you can hear me and see me on TikTok because I'm using a lot of technology that I did not intend to implement in the last couple days. But we're getting it done. That's what's important here. We're getting it done with your support. 253-263-1540. And I have to tell you, I'm just exhausted. And I woke up and I was just laying there and my body is just done. I've got some paperwork I got to do personally. I haven't even been able to get to it. But we have gone down these rabbit holes together. And, Kenzie and I were supposed to do the podcast yesterday. That didn't happen. That's fine. We didn't even do a show on Christmas. But the last few days have been full of experimentation. And I find myself once again back in the front of a curve, developing and discovering new things that I didn't even know existed. It's remarkable. I had seen people do some of the things that we're doing in terms of interaction, and I questioned how it was being done. And when I had my arcade business years ago, I had an idea to do something that involved allowing the audience to interact from the viewer side with real things. Never thought that we'd be doing it so soon. And when I originally tapped into these ideas, pre-live streaming the parks, I thought, how cool would it be to have the audience be able to play an arcade game or something? And there's a company, I think in Israel, that has a warehouse filled with skill cranes, and you can control them. So you remotely move the joystick, and if you win the prize, they mail it to you. It's very cool. It's a whole app. Now, I can't see your comments on TikTok because of the way I'm doing this today, and I don't know how long of a show it's going to be today because I have minimum energy. So 253-263-1540. I'm a little early because I intend to knock this show out and then I don't know what. The idea was to go till the 9th. I think at this point, if we go to New Year's Day, I'll be thrilled. If we make it to New Year's Day, I'll be thrilled. But at the rate I'm going, I'm hanging on by a thread. And there's so much we've discovered. We'll talk about it. We got time. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Royce, it's Heather.
Heather, how are you?
No one can hear you. Good. There's no sound.
Oh, I don't know what to tell you. I have to go downstairs to fix the sound. This is what I'm saying. I went.
Nobody can hear you.
I know, but I can't worry about it. Go to YouTube because here's the thing. I have implemented all of these things that I wasn't ready to implement because the train left the station. I wasn't ready to do what we're doing now with this camera. I was a few weeks away. New computer, remote control access. I can't remote control this camera without going downstairs right now. In a couple weeks, I'll be able to hit a magic button and solve the problem. Right now, I'd have to get off my tuchus, go downstairs, and see what's up, and then I'd have to leave the show. So
tell everybody to go to YouTube.
Yeah, but you know what? Let me tell you something. We're doing a marathon. It's a great opportunity to remind people to go to YouTube. Watch on TikTok, listen on YouTube. Amazing experience. Great way to rally both platforms. But I don't even know. I have no energy. I'm on fumes.
I know.
I'm on fumes.
Yeah, I feel bad.
No, don't feel bad.
I feel bad. I woke up around 1:30 and I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, he's still up. I said, does this man ever sleep?
Well, you know what it is, if please just hang with me for a minute if you have it, because I am like ready to pass out. The idea for this marathon was, I thought, marketing for all the platforms and leading into Live Fest. I'm like, oh, what a great, I love the idea of the marathon, hanging out with everybody and having a good time and being silly. For days, I talked about the bumper car. The bumper car's been sitting on my floor now for days, and I haven't even assembled the wheels. Like, we have gone down a rabbit hole. And I didn't intend with the marathon to do that. There was technology that I had sort of unlocked, discovered, educated myself on leaving New York. But that's not this stuff. That was more about being able to put a camera anywhere and everywhere and basically be able to, cut cameras and park hop. Now, we've unlocked all the gamification of the app. We've unlocked the ability to touch things in real life remotely. I mean, it's just what I can't even. I want to tell you what my real plan is, because the plan existed years ago. I just didn't. That's what I'm trying to say, Heather. Like, what's transpired in the last couple of days has solved the problem that I've been trying to wrap my head around for years.
I think it's wonderful, whatever you're doing. It's fun. It's interactive. It's great.
But imagine being able to go on a mini ride. Imagine being able to trigger a lighting effect on the Lego castle. Imagine being able to trigger not just animations in TikTok, but maybe you're triggering laser animations, in my room, in my house. And now you can say, well, that's fine, but like there's a much bigger vision. I'm just not going to sit here and say it totally out loud, because somebody with deeper pockets will get it done quicker, theoretically. But I don't think there's too many people doing what we're doing. I mean, I see some stuff like this on TikTok, a little bit here, a little bit there. Most of it doesn't appear to even be in this country. Most of it appears to be outside of this country. I don't know. I don't know what people are doing here. I didn't even know about this software prior to this. I've been on the phone during my, oftentimes you think I'm on a break. Oh, he must be resting. No, I'm on the phone, like talking to Nick. I called Sharif the other day. I'm like, bro, listen to me. Like, you know what I mean? So like, I'm like rallying the troops for the big move. The big move. This ain't it. This is just, we're in the lab right now. You see?
I got it. You're onto something amazing. I can see it. So I hope it continues.
But I don't know if I can make it till January 9th, Heather. I think it might destroy me. Like I think New Year's Day.
I'm pretty sure.
New Year's Day.
You think you're going to make it that long?
To New Year's Day, I can make it.
Oh, okay.
By the way, I woke up this morning to I feel targeted because I opened up like Twitter for half a second. There's a Dunkin' Donuts ad, like right, and I haven't had any coffee this morning because I didn't have time. I was like, can I leave the house? And no. Not only do I wake up, there's not only a Dunkin' Donuts ad right in my Twitter feed, but it's a Sabrina Carpenter exclusive brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso drink coming to Dunkin'. Do they really need to convince me to keep going back to Dunkin' anymore? I feel attacked.
I mean, you seem like a Dunkin' guy, but
I grew up on Dunkin'. Dunkin'.
Yeah, I did too. But you enjoy the Starbucks contest.
I think for me, a hot cup of dark roast from Starbucks is fantastic. A designer drink, as my friend Richard, my former boss, would call them, because I remember when we would have, we'd be producing a show, and the crew would go to Starbucks and do a Starbucks run at $8 a drink for the crew. Can you imagine how expensive that got on a daily basis? So Richard would be like, you can go to Starbucks, but no designer drinks. That's what he would call them. So none of the frou-frou caramel chips, none of that nonsense. But you want a cup of coffee, fine. So I've used that term, designer drinks. If I go to Dunkin' Donuts, I want their iced coffee. You know, in their ad, they're like, Dunkin' iced coffee, it's always made the way you like it. And every time I hear that ad, Heather, I'm like, it's so true. because I go to Starbucks now and it's like, it just doesn't hit right. You know, and I love a dark roast, especially hot, but a cold cup of like, it's just something's too much, it's too rich. But then I go to Dunkin' and I take a sip of their iced coffee, and it's so, and this is not an ad, by the way, not yet. It's so refreshing. So in this commercial, I'm like, the guy, I know the guy doing the commercial is a paid actor, but I'm like, this guy really knows what he's talking about, because they really do make this coffee the way I like it. And I can't replicate it at home. I can do anything in this house.
Have you tried buying the Dunkin' coffee?
It doesn't. It's not the same. I buy the grounds. I make my own pot. You can go buy the bottle of cold brew. It doesn't taste the same coming out of the bottle.
When is Fred coming? When are we doing this?
Well, listen, I'm going to, the entire channel is going to turn into a Fred NPC. All right. And they can't hear me on TikTok, so this is a fantastic time to announce this. The channel in the new year is going to be all NPC characters. We're going to start with Larry King and Fred making the donuts. I will be in full character array, and I will just stand there as Fred. And if you send me a donuts, I'll be like, oh, who's making the donuts now? That's going to be my routine. You know, you send me a donut, I'll be like, Heather, who's making the donuts now? Heather's making the donut. That's going to be my whole shtick.
Oh, lovely.
Right? I think it's
lovely. So somebody needs to send you a coffee.
So reality kicks in and I take that idea off the list. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm just saying somebody needs to send you a coffee quickly.
Oh my God, I'm not gonna make it. We're 12 minutes into the show and I'm not gonna make it. And if nobody can hear me on TikTok, like I almost want to run downstairs and solve the problem, but I don't. So I just think,
we Venmo you, can you order a coffee or what?
I can't. Not at this moment. The whole show would come to a screeching halt.
Mm.
And boy, what a show it is.
Yeah.
Did you just say see you? You're leaving? I have half a voice. I have no coffee. You know, that brown sugar. First of all, I can't stand DoorDash. It's absurd what they charged me last night for a grilled cheese and a coffee on DoorDash. But I didn't want to keep leaving the stream.
I know.
You know, I try to stay committed to what I'm doing. You know, I don't mind taking a break and running a replay. A, people like to watch some of the stuff, and B, you got to have a little break. But I'm trying to commit to what I say I'm going to do. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get to the 9th. Maybe I should just readjust and try to get to the 1st. Because I don't want to kill myself, and I want to actually have the energy to do what I want to do in the new year.
I'm surprised you started when you did. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to debug things. I wanted the time to build up a runway. I didn't want to start. In other words, now people know. You know, now we're days into it. Even with those couple breaks in the beginning, people get it. We're days into it. You know, that's why I didn't want to.
Right. Wait. Yeah. Well, it's working. It's fantastic.
I'm trying.
Hopefully, we get to see the bumper car today.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll do this show. I'll get some coffee. I'm surprised you can't hear me because I literally made sure to add the microphone knowing that would be an issue. So just encourage them to go over to YouTube.
Well, yes, we did.
And it won't be a long show at this point. I'm waiting for Laura to call in. I think we're going to talk to her daughter. There's the inevitable Ellis call. There's the commercial break. God forbid Kenzie calls in to make up for her transgressions from yesterday and the day before and the day before that. And then we'll be out of here.
All right.
Good talk.
Yeah, nice talk. Talk to you later.
Thank you for everything, Heather.
You're so welcome. Bye.
Hey, that was Heather. Heather, who saw Wicked. I still haven't seen Wicked. Heather went and saw Wicked. She took a 2-hour Uber to go see Wicked. 253-263-1540. If you're listening on YouTube, hello. If you're watching on TikTok, you can't hear me anyway. And that's fine. But the whole idea that I had coming back from New York was to upgrade my internet speed. And, you know, even before I realized I needed to get a new PC because I was trying to make it work with what I had. The idea was in the new year, Not just getting back into the parks, but getting back to the parks and presenting them in a way that nobody's done. All right. And now, with this marathon, we have unlocked, and I'm really going to need you folks to call in today. All right. But we have unlocked a whole nother layer that I would say it's overwhelming, but it's not overwhelming because these are not like, oh, these are new toys. It is just sort of finally discovering the toolkit to do things that I've wanted to do for the longest time. And people sending like a heart in the live to turn on a light or my coffee pot in my house is super cool, but that's not it. That is just proof of concept. I already know once I get a new PC, what I'm going to do next. I would have done it right away, but I needed a stronger machine. I told everyone day one I was going to make the Rizzo animatronic, allow you all to program him remotely. That's why we used the skeleton, because I cobbled together a different solution at the last minute on the fly. There's been a lot of cobbling. This whole thing has been a live experiment. I have not only have I not slept, but I have not had any time outside of the live to really figure this stuff out. Everybody who's been watching has been watching me figure this stuff out in real time. In real time. But for me, after 4 years of doing, the same thing over and over again, there's a desire to break new ground. And this last week is breaking new ground. I'm telling you right now, I could pass out. And I'm not saying that to complain. I'm just trying to explain to you where I'm at right now. My brain is awake. It is reeling. It is running. My shoulders are ready to cave into my body. But it has been the most productive and inspiring last few days. Even more so than what I was talking about last week. That's what's crazy is last week I was talking to the audience about, oh my gosh, imagine we're in Epcot and I just click a button on my phone and we cut to a camera in the Magic Kingdom and then we click a button and we're in Fantasmic. That's cool, right? That's cool. It's like a TV station, news station. I could get you anywhere. I could use technology and we don't ever have to wait in line. You can go, and now we haven't even done that yet. Yesterday, people were literally sending gifts in the live to unlock ride replays. When I started these streams in the early days, we used to get trolled all the time. Be like, there's no way this is live. It's only 7 a.m. in California. And we're like, well, we're in Florida. There's the answer to your problem, rocket scientist. You can hear my stomach. I can hear my stomach. And I always said, I know how to do replays. I know how I would do them. But I never wanted to do replays to be disingenuous. And then there was the Tokyo replay, which has been run into the ground because that was an idea that happened in real time. And I was like, oh, I'll produce a video and I'll play it while I'm sleeping in Tokyo. And the audience can go live in Tokyo, even though we're not allowed to be live in Tokyo. If I only would have known how well that worked, I would have made 4 or 5 of those. So what am I saying? That's a piece from last week that will allow us to do all of that, right? And again, it's not about doing replays to be surreptitious or to trick anybody, but airing a replay because people are like, oh my gosh, we don't really care if it's live or not. You've been on these rides 100 times. Do you really need to know if it's live or not? If I'm not talking on the ride, what's the difference, right? So yesterday, people were like triggering laps on the People Mover. And that's super cool. I'm sitting in my living room watching people send themselves on rides. But that only works because I built up TVRemix.com over the years as a depot, as a archive of content. And it only really works because my philosophy from day one in the parks was not to talk on the rides. So it's all of these little things that start to work together. And a lot of it has to just do with doing and trusting that the process at some point will find its way there for you. So I don't intend to do a whole bunch of replays like that. We're just playing with the functionality. But we had people switching the camera in my house. So now, imagine we're in the Magic Kingdom running around riding a ride. And we used to say, oh, you send a corgi for every lap on the People Mover. Well, now I could tell you that I could get you on Rise of Resistance if you really want to go to Rise of Resistance next instead of Carousel of Progress. And you have the control to get us there. Just meet the share goal. 1,000 shares. Boom. We leave the Magic Kingdom and we go right to Rise of Resistance. Live. Again, that's not even what I'm thinking of doing with all this technology. I'm just giving you the features. Are they the features or are they the benefits? They're the benefits, right? Because the features are the specs, right? I could sit here and tell you all day long, oh, yeah, I got ports open and I'm using IP protocol and I'm using video encryption and blah, 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 blah. But if I said to you, now you'll be able to control the camera, you'd be like, oh. Who cares how fast your internet is? What does it mean for the viewer? You'll be able to control the camera. And you've seen the proof of concept of that over the last couple days. Now, take that interactivity element, right? Take that functionality of being able to put a camera anywhere in the world and cut to it and marry those together. Now, you can do literally anything. I could literally have somebody say, if we hit this light goal, we're going to Tokyo. And not a clip, but a live feed. Or you can have the same feed on 4 or 5 different platforms with 4 or 5 different camera angles. And you can control them all. I mean, there's just, I can't even begin to go down this rabbit hole because I will just sound like absurd with what we can do. But when I look at what I've worked on over the years, from documentaries to being involved in TV production to producing for other content creators, podcasts, social media influencers, whatever, all these pieces are now lining up for me. All these pieces are lining up. Gamification. I've talked about this before. Remember Farmville? Farmville was click, click, click inside of Facebook. Zynga was huge. Zynga skyrocketed. All it was clicking. There was no game. All you did was click. Well, people love the tapping. And if they know that the tapping is getting them points and the points spin the wheel and the wheel unlocks a feature and it's all free, people love that stuff. And that drives up engagement. And now people aren't just watching a screen and, no pun intended, falling asleep behind the wheel, but it's driving engagement. It's driving engagement. It's wild to me to think about the potential that we have unlocked. I'm telling you, this next year is going to be something else. And to anybody who doesn't have the patience to stick around, you're only going to miss out. Because not only are we going to be back in the parks, but we're going to be doing so many different things. We got the educational stuff. I mean, this marathon started with the 3D printer. We haven't even looked at the 3D printer, I feel like, in 2 days. There's just so much going on. But for me, not only a discovery process and a learning experience, but being able to actually turn that into live content to share with the audience, that's new to me. Normally, this is the kind of stuff I'm doing when I'm not live, and people go, where'd he go? Where is he? Where is he? We haven't seen him. Is he okay? Well, I usually got my head buried in technology, but this time I'm doing it on the live. So nobody can say, where is he? At the most, they can just complain that I'm not doing what they want me to be doing, which is never going to change. But people can see in real time. It started the other day because we were dealing with the inactivity issue when I wanted to get some rest. And Greg goes, well, you could do this, that, and the other. And I go, I don't know how that works. And they've never told us about that. And I think a lot of that stuff is probably just kind of manual. You see people like send a corgi and it knocks somebody into a dunk tank. I'm like, I bet you there's somebody just hitting a button, I said, but I'll look. I don't think there's anything like that I know of. But if it's out there, I'll find, off to the races. That guy disappeared for 24 hours to go deal with real life, came back. We had animatronic skeleton going off in the background. Lights are flashing. I mean, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. 253-263-1540. 253-263-1540. We did not do a podcast yesterday with Kenzie. I know Kenzie was traveling. We didn't do one last week because of the holidays. And by the time, she got home and got settled in, she had stuff going on. I had stuff going on. And as much as I want to give you a 3.5-hour show today, I'm not even really, I don't even have the physical strength to do it. I don't. So we're going to try to get to an hour and a half, maybe. We're going to take your calls. I think Laura's going to call in. I don't know if Ellis is calling in, although according to Ashley, Ellis always calls in. 253-263-1540. 253-263-1540. Help me out because I'm just trying to get to a cup of coffee at this point. Like, I need a large ice black Dunkin' cup of coffee. It's been exciting. I'm exhausted. Like I said, my body is exhausted. I feel like my shoulders are ready to cave in, but my brain is on fire. And that is a weird feeling when your body is just done, but your brain is like wide awake. I mean, I was laying there this morning and my brain was just racing on things like, oh, you could do this, you could do this, if you could do that. And I make the joke these last couple of days that my live and the house has become more interactive than Epcot. But we're unlocking stuff. We're unlocking stuff and doing things that are like at that level of engagement and interactivity that always kind of intrigued me as a kid, whether it's arcades or theme parks. We're doing stuff, albeit, it's on TikTok, so it's the modern version, but we're doing stuff that, to me, correlates. It's much more on the DIY side of this channel, but it correlates into the Imagineering. It correlates into the Epcot side of things, the interventions. It really does, if you think about it. I mean, listen, you give me 2 or 3 more days, I'll have Journey of Water in my living room. All right? It won't take much. And that's not even trying. I could do that in my sleep. Some fountains, some smart switches, some LEDs, bada bing, bada boom. I got the sensors. Journey of Water, done. I'm going to build Journey of Water in my living room. Do it this afternoon. So again, it's all proof of concept. But the larger picture, the 5-year plan here, has finally been realized because I didn't think some of these things could be done so easily with minimal hardware integration. Now, I know if I integrate hardware into this, it's a game changer. What we've been doing over the last couple days has been primarily software driven. As soon as I add hardware into this, it's game over. And I'm so excited about it because we're going to be doing things nobody else can do. The parks are there. We'll get back to the parks. But the gamification of the channel, the interactivity, the audience's ability to constantly be driven to engage because of the desire to interact with the medium. Interactive television fascinates me. Most people probably don't even know this. I have a patent on interactive television. I've had this patent since 2006. And my business partner on this patent and I created it. And we were all over town. I mean, we spoke with ABC, Disney at the time, and they were like, well, look, we don't need you. We can do it ourselves. Well, they haven't. I do believe we met with Netflix at one point. We met with MGM. We met with everybody, and we did samples for The Price is Right. And the show The Biggest Loser, we were rolling that stuff out. We were going to do something with The Office and never came to fruition. Got very close to doing business with Amazon on this patent. Got very close to doing business with Mr. Cuban on this patent. And I say all this because I've been chasing interactive television since 2006. 2006. I have been chasing interactive television since 2006. From the choose your own adventure side of things where you can drive the next scene to being able to gamify content to being able to Shopify content. I mean, I've literally sat in these meetings with agencies. I own 2 patents on interactive TV now. All right. I remember developing a game for the Golden Globes that never aired. I have met with everyone and anyone about this stuff. I have watched other people attempt to roll out copies of it. I have watched friends of friends literally walk into boardrooms and sit across the table from me and try to pitch me back my own idea because the town is so small and relationships are so tight. And I was such a grinder when it came to this stuff and still am a grinder. And I don't mean a hoagie. All right. That people would wind up being, oh, you got to talk to this guy. He's up to the same thing. Up to the same thing. That's my old radio show co-host cousin. And that guy's a lunatic. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, it's Maddie.
Maddie.
Hi, Maddie.
Happy New Year.
You too.
Now, Maddie, I'm going to pretend like I don't know why you're calling. Would you like to tell me why you're calling?
Yes. The bagel story.
You're going to tell me a story?
Yes.
All right, I'm listening. What's the story about?
You could do.
One. I don't know.
You don't know. Is it about a bagel?
Yes.
You like bagels, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. And you're 6 years old and you love bagels already?
Yeah.
Wow.
One day, there was no bagel.
So, Maddie, I heard that you love bagels so much at the little old age of 6 that when they took bagels away from your lunchroom, you couldn't take it anymore.
Yes.
What did you do?
Nothing.
No, you did something. What did you do? Did you have your mom write a letter?
Mommy texted someone.
Yeah, and they wrote back.
I don't know what they said.
But did you get
They
your...
said,
What'd they say?
they said yes.
So you got your bagels back?
Yeah.
I love that. Did you laugh when you got your bagels back? Like a, ha ha, I got my bagels.
Yes.
That's awesome. Good for you. Good for you. You know, most people my age don't have the ability to get things done. You should be very proud of yourself. Obviously, you don't take me seriously. I can tell that by the laughing. But I'm proud of you. That's funny. I'm proud of you because that's a big deal. You know that, right?
No.
Now you know because I just told you. That's a big, big deal to get them to they took something away and you spoke up, you stood up for yourself and you said, no, I want my bagels back. Do you like donuts?
Yes.
You do? Do you ever go to Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah.
Yeah? I had a friend there named Fred who used to make the donuts. I only bring up donuts because they look like bagels. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Wow.
They're both pickles.
They're delicious. Let me tell you something. I've been eating way too many donuts lately. So listen, Maddie, could you use your superpowers to get me a Dunkin' sponsorship? Could you, since it's bagels? Yes, please. All right.
Okay.
Listen, Maddie, have your mom send an email to the CEO of Dunkin'. His name is Mr. Duncan. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Congratulations. Happy New Year.
You
Everything is so funny to you. Give it time. Give it time. As we get older, we're laughing, but for very different reasons. How brilliant, Laura. Or not,
Thank
Laura.
I'm here.
Oh, boy, that kid laughs more than Ellis. It's adorable. I love that. How sweet. How sweet is she? And she can draw. A little artist. A little budding entrepreneur artist. You should be very proud of yourself.
But here's my joke.
The drawing.
What's that?
I have the Joe Coconut you drew on the board.
Here we go.
And it's autographed, which means the street value on that thing is through the roof. I'm gonna wait till you become a very famous artist, and then I'm gonna take it to a museum and be like, how much can I get for this? Do you have any other stories you want to share, Maddie, or was it just the bagel story today?
Just the bagel.
All right. Well, listen, you call back when you speak to Mr. Duncan. Although technically Duncan will be his first name, his last name would be Donut. So you call back after you talk to Mr. Donut, Mr. Duncan Donut, and you let me know what's up.
Okay.
All right. I'll talk to you next time. Happy New Year.
You too.
Have an everything bagel for me, toasted with a little schmear.
Okay.
How cute. So cute.
Bye.
Bye, Laura. See, like that makes me want to have a child. But then there's, all the reality of a child. But how cute. How cute. I knew she was going to call in. Thank you, Yoey, for that. I don't know why. Sometimes the phone system sort of locks up on me. And I can't see that there's a call in the system. And I know we're battling over on TikTok a little bit with things as well, just because I'm like doing the Benny Hill thing, spinning plates. 253-263-1540. All of this technology, for me, goes back to 2006 when I developed this patent. And the funny thing is, I had read the Keys to the Kingdom book, the story of Eisner, right? But the other book I read was Barry Diller's book. Barry Diller is the one who actually worked with Michael Eisner. I think he was his boss at Paramount. Barry Diller created the fourth network, the Fox network. Barry Diller, everybody said there's no way you can start a fourth network. And Barry Diller said, watch me. And he created the Fox network. Barry Diller is married to Diane von Furstenberg. Diller, in his book, talked about interactive TV being able to click on the screen and buy something. I was reading that book in my Midtown Manhattan studio apartment, which was probably twice the size of this room I'm in. That's the whole apartment. And the light bulb goes off. And this is 2004. By 2006, I'm in LA, and we have filed for a patent. And it's funny, I've never shared this story with the audience before, but here we go. So we developed this patent for interactive shoppable television, shoppable television, video hotspots. You're watching whatever show, and there's a bottle of Tide in the background. Oh my God, I forgot Tide. You click on it, it goes into your shopping cart, API'd into Walmart or Target, whatever, right? So we're developing this. So we partner up with a company called Reveille. Now, this is so weird to say this out loud to you right now. We partnered up with a company called Reveille. Reveille produced The Office for NBC. Ironically, or unironically, Reveille was started by one Barry Diller, the very person that inspired me to go out and get this patent. So now I've got this patent, and I'm partnered up with Barry Diller via his Reveille production company, and they want to use The Office. We're on the NBC Universal backlot, having meetings with everybody, developing stuff for The Biggest Loser, developing stuff for Fremantle, Price is Right, trying to get into the American Idol stuff. It was very early days. And we get a meeting with Microsoft. Microsoft wants to build the software for us. Microsoft says, come up to our offices in Palo Alto, which happen to be the old Pixar offices. I told you, it's amazing the things that I've never shared with this audience. So now I'm up sitting in the old Pixar offices, meeting with Microsoft developers about building a software application backed on Silverlight, using the Silverlight codec, to integrate interactive video elements into television. I've got to deal with Microsoft. I've got to deal with Reveille. I'm working my way through. Nobody in 2006, there was no Hulu, okay? There was no Netflix streaming. Nobody wanted to disrupt traditional ad revenue back then. I have spoken to everyone and anyone about this technology over the years, okay, and its full potential. So interactive television, not even lives. We're talking pre-produced content. Interactive TV is something I have been chasing for a very long time. And if we're just going to count it as 2024, when I read that Barry Diller bio, that would put us at about 2 decades ago. So the events that have transpired, the things that I have unlocked, the things that I have discovered in just the last few days, personally for me, it's wild to say this out loud. It's the culmination of a 2-decade-long journey. 2 decades. The pursuit of interactive television. I remember having conversations back in the early days. You couldn't do the things you could do now. My ex and I would talk about it. You'll be able to go, you'll be watching something on your phone. You'll be able to walk into the house one day and just flick it off your phone to your TV screen. Finish watching it on the TV. 2 decades. My journey into interactive TV. 2 decades. My journey into interactive TV. But oh my gosh, when are you going to get back to the parks? Kiss my tuchus. This is way bigger than that. And by the way, speaking of kissing tuchuses, if you're ready to spice up your kitchen this holiday season, Pampered Chef has all the goodies from spatulas and mandolins to amazing pots and pans and knives. Plus, don't miss out on small appliances like deluxe air fryers, coffee makers to make your holiday cooking a breeze. Now, you say, what does that have to do with kissing tuchus? I have to kiss up to Colleen Herman for all of the lovely Pampered Chef goodies she sent me and all of the lovely Pampered Chef goodies that are on the way. It has contributed to this live greatly in the last couple weeks. I've had a blast doing it. And as a podcast sponsor, I have to read this ad, but I'm going to kiss a little extra tuchus right now and tell you that not only is she a sponsor and a longtime viewer and a friend, all right, but she has some of the best products you will find. Look, I know there's other people on Pampered Chef. It's a whole site. It's a whole thing. If you're going to go use it, go through Colleen. I mean, she's got extra stuff. She's just sent it to Keena for North Carolina. Bread. I told Keena, Keena, you should be making bread. It's instant bread mix. Make it in the parking lot. Hand out loaves of bread. I was just joking. Keena's like, I will make loaves of bread in the parking lot and hand them out to people. I'm like, okay, that's a bit much. So if you're going to use Pampered Chef, pamperedchef.com/PWS/Colleen Herman, and get the bisque and the beer batter bread mix. A half a packet of the bisque mix in with the beer batter bread. Just use water instead of the bubbly stuff. Thank me later. It tastes like a loaf of roasted sun-dried tomato bread. It tastes like a sun-dried tomato bagel. And I know somebody out there likes bagels. Are you on vacation and the unthinkable happens? Have you been injured in an accident? Don't wait to get the help you deserve when you need it the most at the law offices of Nicole M. Kennedy. They fight for your rights and work tirelessly to get you the compensation you deserve. They're here to guide you through every step. Call now 305-213-5438 for a free consultation. You don't pay unless they win. 305-213-5438, the law office of Nicole M. Kennedy, your trusted advocate in times of need. Last minute shipping from the parks. Do you need to ship that last minute package that you bought, that last minute impulsive purchase? 6526 Old Brick Road. Those are my friends at the UPS store, located right behind the Magic Kingdom, 6526 Old Brick Road. Tell them Joe Coconut sent you. And, of course, William.bailey will help you with all of your travel planning. William.bailey Travel, William.bailey at academytravel.com, William.bailey at academytravel.com. And we will be reaching out to you about that Tokyo trip at some point. I got to message William and get caught up myself. And sometimes we're so worried about this life and this moment, we forget to plan for the life for those we leave behind. With no estate plan, you could be leaving those you love the most with high taxes, probate fees, and incomplete or divided estate and legal fights and fees. A will or trust is not just for the Rockefellers anymore. If you live in Florida, contact RK Law today to make an appointment and safeguard the future of those you love. Send an email to russell@rklawpro.com, russell@rklawpro.com to schedule your appointment today. Woo! My head is spinning. 253-263-1540, 253-263-1540. Give me a call. I don't have any energy. I really don't. Like I told you at the top of the show, it's been a wild, wild ride these last few days. And like I said, for me, the culmination of 2 decades of pursuing interactive TV, and somehow it all just happened in the last 48 hours that we're doing things that I've been thinking about for so long. And now I have unlocked the potential to do things that I've been wanting to do ever since the arcade business was on ice. Very exciting for me. Very, very exciting for me. Now, what we're going to have to do here, because I know folks on TikTok can't hear me, is I'm going to take another call or two if we have them. And I'm going to get you your radio show done. And then I'm going to pop back downstairs where you can actually hear me on TikTok and chat for a minute. And then I'm going to get coffee. And we're going to figure out what we're doing with the rest of this marathon. Because the way I feel right now, and I'm not complaining, I'm just communicating. Everything up here, wide awake, ready to rock. Everything from the shoulders down, ready to collapse. But so excited, running on adrenaline. 253-263-1540, 253-263-1540. What I really need to do is like a nice shave, a nice hot shower, a nice big cup of iced black coffee, a little gardening. What? 253-263-1540, 253-263-1540. We're live on YouTube. We're live on TikTok. Now, do me a favor if you're listening to this podcast. Please go follow on TikTok. Please go to the link tree and follow on Twitter and Twitch. There's Instagram and, of course, YouTube. We're already live on YouTube and TikTok, so you're following one of these theoretically already. But go check out the other ones because they're all there, right? And part of this marathon was to create awareness for all of the platforms. For a while now, people have been saying, what are you going to do when TikTok goes away? I don't think it's going away. But we already are on YouTube and Instagram, so I don't feel the need to panic. We've added Twitch to the equation because of some of these larger things that I'm looking to do in the new year. The last 2 days have derailed me from even going on Twitch. But we're going to get it done. And we're going to chat. And I know because people can't hear me on TikTok, it's fine. But we're going to chat. We're going to figure out what we're doing here with this marathon. But as long as I get coffee, I can keep pushing. All right? I can keep pushing. It's been a wild ride. We'll get back into a groove. We go to the Live Fest celebration on the 10th to LA. We placed number 7 in Live Fest, which is a remarkable achievement. Now, I do think you can do song requests over on TikTok, mind you. I do believe, if you can't hear me, oh, no, you can't do song requests because you don't have music playing for you. Never mind. We've unlocked so much. People can spin a wheel and unlock animations and turn on physical things in my house just by spinning a wheel, by building up likes and shares. You get points on TikTok now. We've gamified it. And you can actually play my Spotify in my house and drive the playlist. It's been a lot of fun. And now that we have Maddie's help, we're going to get that Dunkin' sponsorship. I can feel it. We're going to get that Dunkin' sponsorship. 253-263-1540. We have 5 podcast sponsors up until the end of the year. So I don't know which ones of our sponsors are sticking with us. No pressure. 2 of them have told me privately that they will be. We'll find out. I'll have to fire off some messages today, but I want to thank our podcast sponsors for helping us get this off the ground. It's been a really exciting journey. You can see, folks, when I tell you, that sometimes I just need to get out of the park because there's so much more in my mind and so much more on my plate, and I don't know why I'm hearing all this stuff. Kat just sent me a Venmo for coffee. You're so sweet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know why I'm hearing dings here. I shouldn't be hearing anything. Oh, that's better. 253-263-1540. But I'm in it to win it. And I hope it's becoming more and more apparent to anyone out there who's watching or asking questions what this is all about. I explained to you that the launching of the podcast was the pursuit of long-form conversation, long-form content. I explained to you that ramping up platforms is an attempt to diversify audience, content, and revenue. And then on top of that now, with all the gamification and the interactivity, it's only getting me where I'm going quicker. I mean, I literally have a 1 year and probably a 2 or a 3 year, probably it's more like a 2 year, a 1 year, a 2 year, and a 5 year, the way I'm looking at this, because I can roll out some stuff in the first year that'll bridge pretty quick into year 2, right? You kind of have year 1 of this next year, 2025, is going to be a lot of implementation, a lot of testing, a lot of pushing boundaries, which means by 2026, we should be in a groove and have scaled to the point that we're actually operating the way I envision. And then at the 5-year mark, just be printing money. You're on the air. Who's this?
Good morning, Brooke. It's Danny.
Danny, where's your voice?
I'm exhausted.
You're exhausted. I'm going to fall. I'm going to take a nap. You talk.
No, you don't want me to do that.
At least for like 30
This will
seconds.
go off the rails. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I've already said it in the chats before, but this has been absolutely one of the funnest just developments that I've ever seen on the internet. But definitely just this whole ride that you've taken us on, it goes back to what I said a few weeks ago when I called in, that I think most of us that have like stuck around have been here for you and what you bring, your personality. I think that's what distinguished you when you were in the park anyways from other people. But now that we get to see you every day, I think that was kind of like the thing that was missing when we were in the park, because obviously you're streaming the park. So the amount of time that you were on the screen was, basically non-existent. It was just your voice. But now we get to spend a good quality amount of time with you, whatever you're doing. And it just goes to show that in my opinion, you are the draw. So whatever you do, whatever you decide to do, we're here for the ride. And these last, I don't know, 4 or 5 days have just been insane, but very enjoyable.
Has it really been that many days? I feel like it's been 2 days, and it's been stuck on 2 days.
I mean, I think it started on Thursday.
Did it really?
I think so. Because Friday was from Friday to Saturday was the night that I stayed up like really long with like Stacey Ann and stuff trying to keep the live going. So I know that I haven't pretty much slept since then.
Oh yeah. You know what it is too? It's like and I appreciate the support, and I know you know that, and you're amazing. But it's just one of these things where like I don't even. I mean, I'm going to say this out loud for the benefit of anybody that has an entrepreneur burning inside of them that doesn't know how to unlock it. I need to make money to live. We all do. Okay. I don't need to make followers to live. Okay. You need to make money. But there's a conversion rate. So in theory, the more followers you bring in, the more likes, the more shares, it feeds the whole machine, and then it trickles down at some point and it converts, right? Whether it's following me on YouTube and Instagram and Twitch, or whether it's revenue, a podcast sponsor, all of the pieces to the machine. I get into this mode, Danny, I don't even care. I'm like, upgrade to Spotify Premium, let's go. Like, I just wind up putting every penny right back in. And if I'm losing followers in the process, I don't care. Because I know once this is dialed in the way that I envision it, it's going to be, everyone's going to be wanting to watch or wanting to do it. So I don't know what's going to become more successful for me. Me being able to produce other people with this stuff, and not just the stuff from the last 4 days, but the stuff prior, everything that's gone on from New York forward. It's like I can do it for me, but I can also do it for other people. So I've suddenly just unlocked all of these things that I've been chasing for 2 decades. And it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't you gotta make, you gotta generate revenue. You gotta, that's why you set the goals up. But I know like not having the gift goals hurts things. And some people can't give subs, and we're going to go below 650,000 followers. We're going to celebrate dropping below 650,000 followers soon, but I don't care because I know on the other end of this, the upside is so much bigger. You know what I mean?
Well, I think part of it right now for you, just an observation from a viewer standpoint, we're seeing you come up with all your ideas live just because of this whole marathon thing. So obviously, if you were to come up with all of this stuff, we wouldn't see the wheels turning. We would just, you'd present us with whatever you were going to do next. But seeing the process, at least for me, I think it helps a lot because it's a natural progression. I mean, I wasn't around when you first started streaming the parts. I just came in on, now when everything was established.
I believe June or July.
Right. So you don't get to that point until you've, stumbled and kind of caught your footing someplace and figured out what works. And sometimes that takes time. So right now you're in that stage again. And I've seen other content creators on other different platforms, not on TikTok. And I've followed them for years when they had maybe 100 followers. And now they're in the hundreds of thousands. And I think back to when I was first with them, and they would talk about, I don't know if anybody's watching. I don't know if this is worth it. And now they've reached that point of success where it has a life of its own. So I think if you're doing something that you feel is the right way to do it and it's the right direction to take, then just do it. Everybody will follow. Anybody who is here for the right reasons will follow. If somebody's just around for the parks, there's hundreds of people that stream the parks and they'll go there and it's no big deal. But I don't feel like the majority of people are. I've seen a lot of support for you from Live Fest on, especially during this weekend. I mean, people that, were willing to like give up hours of sleep just to make this work for you.
So sweet.
And I think that speaks a lot to who you are, because you bring that out of people, that thing of like, I want to help. I want to see you succeed. I want to be part of that process.
I just like to do the impossible, and that's where the whole Disney side of me is wired. It's the Imagineering, it's the DIY, everything that Walt said. Walt, when you said, "Don't you dare" last night, I was like, well, now I'm going to prove you wrong. And that's what I love about Walt's legacy is like Walt, as soon as Walt did something with great success, he moved on to the next thing. He didn't want to go back and do it again. He was like, great, I conquered that mountain. There's still people trying to, there's still people trying to do lives in the park and find their success. And I hope that they do. I'm not knocking them for that. And there's still people that are chasing that trend. I'm not abandoning it. I just don't want to be on the back end of a trend. I want to be on the front end of a trend. And that's typically where I sit, is on the front end of things, because that's where my brain is.
There's something that I noticed this weekend that I was going to bring it up in the live, but I thought it was like loose translation in the chat. I just happened upon someone that was in a live, a content creator, and all they were doing was sitting in a chair, throwing balls inside cups.
Uh-huh.
That's all they were doing.
Uh-huh.
And they had about, I want to say, 4,500 people watching that.
Yep.
And I was thinking to myself, okay, so there's 4,500 people that enjoy watching somebody throw a ball in a cup. There's literally something for everyone.
Well, and you have to ask yourself why that works. The reason that works is because it becomes very addictive to watch, because you're wanting to see, you want the dopamine hit of that ball completing the sequence.
Correct. Yeah.
So but to a certain point, even though that's not truly false engagement, it doesn't. How do you go beyond that? Like because we've talked about these in these TikTok meetings, the notion of false engagement. You see those lives where people like put the pin near the balloon, but the balloon never pops. That would be considered false engagement, because you're not really giving people the thing that they're expecting. At least with the guy throwing the ball, there's a payoff there. So those numbers are that high because people are waiting for that payoff.
But the audience is there for him. Like what you said, the addictive part of it.
Yeah.
Everyone has their thing. So, if there's people that their thing is just, I want to obsessively watch live streams of a Disney park, then they will search for that ad nauseum, and that's all they'll watch. But if their thing is, I want to be engaged, I want to interact, and you provide that, and you resonate with those people, then you become the thing that they want to watch. Well,
last night was like a party. I mean,
have to find that audience.
People are spinning the wheel and playing games. They're unlocking characters. They're unlocking physical elements, and then they're requesting songs. It was just like we were like having a party. It's like a digital party.
And people get to engage with each other more, at least I feel, than when you're in the park.
Well,
because you become so engrossed in the park, then it just becomes like, oh, then you talk about the ride, and then I like the ride, I don't like the ride, or oh, he's been on this ride before, or oh, I wish this ride was different,
or
and
what's
then
next,
which is fine, but it is repetitive. Whereas when you're in this scenario, you never know what's going to happen, and it kind of builds like a sense of community, and that community is the one that follows you and supports you, and I just think it's more genuine. I don't know if I'm explaining myself well, but
no, you are, because here's the thing. Here's how because I have these thoughts on my own, obviously. Running around in the park, I like Jamie uses the phrase, oh, he's all business. Like, oh, we enjoy your park streams, but you're all business. We don't get to see you having fun. Because there's a time and a place, and I'm not going to act a fool in the theme park when there's, people spending $10,000 on a vacation. Like, there's just a time and a place. And you don't talk during the show. You're not supposed to talk during the rides. You just don't impede the guest experience. It's not about you. You know, once somebody in the early days referred to me as just another camera in the crowd, and I'm like, that's the idea, bro. That's the idea. If you make it about you and you stick out like a sore thumb, you're only impeding the experience for everyone else. Blend in and do it right, but they don't get it. So it's not hard to do the parks correctly. And the notion that it is just because people are so obsessed with their own narcissism, okay, that they can't let go and let something else take center stage. So what happens is I'm running around streaming the parks and letting the parks do the thing that they do and letting people soak in the parks. But I inadvertently lose control because I'm so busy running the camera, getting to the next thing. Now 4 or 5 people own the chat all day long, and they don't leave any room for other people to talk. And now I'm running around with sweat in my eyes looking down, and I'm like, why is this person every other sentence in the chat? Or why does it look like Tetris where this person's got 4 or 5 lines in a row and nobody else is talking? It's not the so-and-so show. And I can think of 12 different people over the years I could use their names for that.
You're 100% correct.
And there's nothing
exactly
I love more than not seeing a lot of those names. And seeing names of people like Natanya, who's been watching me forever. Jojo, who's in New Zealand, who's been watching me forever. The other Danny. No offense, the original Danny.
Yeah.
Okay? She's been around forever. But, you know, like, not chiming in those moments, but absolutely chiming in, you know, now with the 3D printer and all that. And by the way, haven't touched a 3D printer in 2 days. The bumper car is sitting on the ground, hasn't been assembled. That tells you everything you need to know about how much we've done in the last couple days.
Oh, you had your eureka moment and you're running with it. And then I can tell the moment that I saw that car arrived and you didn't touch it, I felt like, oh God, this is just going to spiral in a good way, but then it becomes about, you know what, you feel like this is the time that you need to run with it. And if the idea struck and everything kind of like started falling into place, yeah, then do it now. Why wait? There is no better time than the present.
Well, I have learned,
that's all I want.
but that's entrepreneurship. And I have learned that I trust my instincts. And something was telling me, if you remember, before even Live Fest, I said I want to do a marathon. And then we started doing the Live Fest thing. I go, this is not the marathon. And we didn't even know we were going to do Live Fest this year. This is not that marathon. So this is the marathon, right? And I didn't know what I was attempting to unlock. I was more fixated on some other stuff. But I just knew instinctually that it had to be done to achieve other things. And even I didn't know I would get this far. But it's just part of being an entrepreneur is to take that leap and to trust your instincts, okay? And to not be afraid to fail. You know, even if it's as simple as like, oh my God, this isn't working. Like I was trying to get those switches working the other day. I went to Walmart at 6 a.m. By the way, going to Walmart at 6 a.m. is like a horror movie. First of all, the doors don't open. You have to open the doors for yourself. I had to manually open the doors. I'm like, this is weird. Am I breaking in the Walmart right now? So this employee, I almost called him a cast member. This Walmart cast member, he goes, oh, you want in? You just got to open the doors. I'm like, for the next 2 hours, the only way into this Walmart is to essentially peel the doors open? Okay. So then I'm walking around this Walmart trying to find smart switches at 6 o'clock in the morning, and the only smart switches I can find are locked up in a cabinet, but it's 6 o'clock in the morning and nobody in Walmart wants to talk to you who's stocking shelves, and nobody's got the key to the fakakta counter to get me my smart switches. So finally, I flagged down this girl like I'm thumbing a ride on the side of the road, and she says she'll be right back. She wasn't. 20 minutes later, I'm standing in the Walmart. She finally comes. She unlocks the thing. She hands me the smart switches. I'm like, all right, at least we've killed enough time that I can go to Dunkin' Donuts on the way out, because surely now Dunkin' is open. No, Dunkin' didn't open for another 15 minutes. Now I'm standing in a dark Walmart waiting to rope drop the Annex Dunkin'.
See, I wish you could live stream all that.
Do you know these people at
Because-
this Dunkin' Donuts must think I'm a lunatic? Like, I'm convinced. And I go in there and I'm like, I'm nice, and I'll crack a joke or something. Like, I'm always trying to kind of, just if you can make somebody smile, I think it goes a long way in a world filled with miserable people. And so I know that they must think I'm a nut job, because I walk in there and I order like 2 large coffee, like iced coffee. Like, I'll get the $6 meal deal, and then I'll order a large iced black coffee for the road. The 5-minute walk to my car and the 2-minute drive to my house. So so they see me rope dropping Dunkin' at like 6:45 in the morning like a lunatic, and I'm like waiting. The doors are open, and I'm like, I'm not going to be the first one to go up to the register. And I'm like, well, the lights are on. I hear the coffee brewing. I'll just step inside the little annex and pretend to go look at this coffee on the shelf and not be a total nebbish and be the first one in line rope dropping Dunkin', this poor girl. So I'm just eyeing the coffee, even though I'm not going to buy it. I'm just looking at it, and she goes, oh, hi. And I'm like, you take all the time you need. She goes, no, I'm ready. And I was like, oh, perfect. And then, so that's my Dunkin' story. So I guarantee they have no, they must think I'm crazy, because I went in there the other day and I heard the manager go, boy, we sell a lot of iced coffee. Our daily sales are up today. We're up $700 today. I go, I think I'm responsible for the uptick in iced coffee sales at this Dunkin', because I was going to Starbucks and they took me from Starbucks. So literally a couple months ago, Dunkin' took my business from Starbucks, and now I think I'm single-handedly affecting the revenues at this place.
With the amount of coffee you consume, I would say yes.
I think so. And now I think they're on to me, because they have a buy one, get one free, and they've denied me the buy one, get one free twice. I think they're like, no, you're good for it. We're out of coffee. You're Dunkin' Donuts. You never run out of coffee. I'm just kidding.
They ran out of coffee?
No. They were closing. She had to brew more. But and then the other day I went yesterday, and I was 10 minutes early for the buy one, get one, and I didn't want to wait around. But no, I joke. It's all jokes, because they work their butts off over there. They work their butts off over there. Like, they really do. And so shout out to my local Dunkin', if you're watching, which you're not.
You need a Dunkin' sponsorship.
They probably think that I'm like just some unemployed guy that plays scratch-off tickets all day long or something. Because
You're probably not wrong.
Listen, I'll walk in there in a pair of like gym shorts, flip-flops, and like a t-shirt. I look like somebody that just came out of like, a homeless encampment. And and then I pull out my Darth Vader credit card, and I'm like, 2, please.
Oh my God, please stop.
It's just the truth.
I'm just imagining all of it.
I said by the way, there's one girl at my Dunkin'. She looks like Meryl Streep. And I don't want to say anything, because I don't want to be like, I don't want to come off creepy. Because you almost want to be like, oh my God, do you know you look like Meryl Streep? And she's really, really nice. And I don't want to be mean. I don't know if she's all there. Like, she might just be a little flighty. Because
Oh my God.
No, well, hear me out. I go, large iced coffee, no room. She goes, what'd you say? I said, no room. She goes, I've never heard that before. I'm like, you're in the coffee industry. I said no room, because oftentimes people say black coffee, but then they put cream and sugar in there. And she goes, but that wouldn't be black coffee. I said, you tell that to half the population.
Like, if there's any other kind of coffee.
No, but I mean, like, it's a term. Because then I went home and something popped up in my feed from Dunkin', and it said no room. And I'm like, who trained this girl? She's very sweet. I'm just joking.
How young was she?
I don't know. What do you want me to go up to her? Hey, do you know? Yeah, you look like Meryl Streep. By the way, how old are you? Like, these are.
Well,
I'll be going back to Starbucks in no time. The one girl there. The one girl there, though, and I can't give you specifics, but the one girl gave me insider information on upcoming Dunkin' stuff. Not the Sabrina Carpenter's drink, but she gave me some insider Dunkin' info because I think she knew that they'd lose me to Starbucks. So I think she was like, I'm going to give this guy a little insider info so we don't lose our revenue stream. You know? So I know about stuff coming to Dunkin' in the new year.
Single-handedly keeping the Dunkin' franchise
Yeah.
alive.
I'm legally going to change my name to Fred. All right. I got to get out of this radio show.
I will sponsor you for a full-on Fred segment.
Look,
Like
the
whole thing.
I'm not going to go bald.
No, well, you know, not that. But you can put the little hat on and nobody will know the difference.
A Dunkin'
You got to
apron.
put the mustache.
The Dunkin' apron. Well, I'll shave everything, but I'll shave down to the mustache. Okay, because I got facial hair. So I'll shave down to the mustache, put on the visor, and I'll put on the apron, and I'll do a Dunkin' Donut live, and we'll set the gift goal to like whatever, a bunch of donuts, and I'll just sit there for an hour and go, "Thank you for making the donuts. Time to make the donuts." And we'll lose more viewers. It'll be great. I don't care anymore. I want to do that in a Larry King. Larry King. I want to slick my hair back, put on suspenders, and go, Danny, Miami, you're on the air. I used to hang out with Gleason. He had a full-time bartender. Did you know that, by the way? Jackie Gleason had a full-time bartender?
In his house?
Yeah, in Miami.
Wow. I mean, his name is all over the place down here, but I didn't realize he must have thrown a lot of parties to have a bartender all on retainer.
He was a raging alcoholic. There was no party. It was a party of one.
Oh.
There was no party. What are you talking about, party? No.
No.
He like Jackie Gleason will wake up in the morning and be like, another martini. You know, like, I mean, he had a full-on bartender in his house on call. And I don't think it was a house. I think it was a condo. Miami.
I had no. Yeah.
Well, I mean, don't they have like a Jackie Gleason memoriam over there somewhere? They don't have all that over there? I mean, Jackie Gleason's like Miami personified, no?
Yeah, his name is on a lot of things. I mean, more so in Miami Beach, but it pretty much. And there's a theater for him, and I've gone there, I don't even know, 1,000 times.
It's like a little. There's
always something going on.
The Jackie Gleason Theater, I picture like a little white building right on the water. Is that accurate?
It's not. It's close to the water. It's like a few blocks away from Ocean Drive, but
yeah, it's not a big thing. It's not a big theater.
No, it isn't. But I mean, I've gone there to watch. I don't know, like Phantom of the Opera and like concerts and things like that over the years, a lot. And in high school, I think everybody in our high schools here ended up in the Jackie Gleason Theater for something or other that they would produce, and you'd have to go watch it or something like that.
By the way, everything in Miami is a couple blocks from the water, so you could have just told me I was wrong. That's fine, but you're so sweet. So what was it about Jackie Gleason that made him a staple in Miami? I mean, I knew his career started there, and I know that like he didn't really leave, right? He always kept his roots there, right?
Right. I mean, I think he had like his own like Rat Pack down here, and at that time, I think this was like the place to be. You know, the heyday of Miami. Here's the thing: as a local, I think I get like really peeved, and that's just my personal thing, that people think that Miami is Miami Beach, but they are two completely separate entities. Like Miami Beach is Miami Beach, and Miami proper is nothing like Miami Beach. Like I don't live anywhere near the water.
I got to tell you,
a tsunami could hit right now.
None of it's desirable. Like everybody, like that stretch of beach where Versace got assassinated. That's Miami Beach, right?
Right.
What is that? What's the name of that strip?
Miami Beach. That's Ocean Drive.
That's Ocean, right.
Which is right. You literally can see the ocean from where you're at.
But Ocean Drive is like a little tiny strip off the back of Crack Alley, isn't it?
I mean, well, in the 70s and 80s, no one would ever go over there. I'm like, you wouldn't be caught over there at all. It just had a bit of a renaissance in the late 80s and like early 90s. And now it's just, become what it is, like a life of its own. But back then it was either like old retired people.
It's not desirable.
No. Here's the thing. Anybody that lives like in Miami rarely goes to Miami Beach. Like, I have not stepped foot in Miami Beach in like 20 years.
I had two buddies that lived in a apartment in a tower above, overlooking that whole area, South Beach, right?
Right, South Beach.
Ocean Avenue, South Beach. But it's this tiny little strip. And it's everything around it, at least from my memory, and it's been a long time, was run down. But anyone who doesn't know this area, who only sees it through the media or reads about it online, it's supposed to be this glamorous area. You couldn't pay me to go there.
It's only glamorous for really, South Beach is like maybe 20 blocks by like 3 or 4 blocks. It's not a huge area.
Right.
And it's always congested. There are parts of it that are beautiful and they have great restaurants and all that stuff. But for anybody that lives like what I like to call it on the mainland, like, we don't venture over there unless it's something very big. Traffic is terrible. Parking is terrible. It's too fake all the time. Like, there's plenty of things to do in Miami. I mean, Miami itself, the city, it's not that bad. It isn't. I'm a lifelong, I was born here. I'm a lifelong resident of it. But again, like South Beach, what everybody sees on TV and what everybody wants to go and visit at is not Miami at all. Miami is like made up of suburbs.
Yeah, and I know you will not be offended, but I think Miami's gross. Like, compared to like other aspects of Florida, like, so when people think Miami is like the Mecca, I'm like, there are so many other areas of Florida that are far more intriguing than Miami.
Oh God, yeah. Why do you think I go to Disney? Part of the appeal initially was to get out of Miami.
But I'm not talking about the suburbs. I'm talking about Miami. I'm talking about like what we're not just talking South Beach. We're talking about what everyone pictures in Miami, where all the hotels are, where the Gleason, like that whole stretch, like it's just so
like the
busy.
Downtown area.
It's so busy. It's so gross. And to me, anybody that wants to be seen in South Beach is not the kind of person I want to be around.
100%. 100%.
So there's that.
My husband calls them posers.
Yeah, well, they are. Wasn't that?
But there's so many things to do in the city that have nothing to do with that.
Isn't that whole opening sequence in Scarface South Beach?
It's meant to be South Beach, yes.
Right.
But then again, that's South Beach in the 80s.
Right.
And again, that area, no one would go there unless you were like a retiree or a drug dealer. Or it was very bad. I mean, it was notorious. We never went as a kid because my parents would never take me there. It was like, oh, we're not going there.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think it's kind of funny when you look at whether it's something like South Beach, it's Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, Times Square. I'm thinking of like all the iconic, Hollywood Boulevard. Everybody, oh, you got to go to Hollywood Boulevard. Oh, you're going to Los Angeles. You got to go visit Hollywood Boulevard. Go to the Walk of Fame. Do not go to the Walk of Fame. There's nothing worth seeing on Hollywood Boulevard that you can't see on Google Street View.
I think it's all about perception versus reality. What's romanticized and idealized, particularly in film and TV, versus the reality. I mean, when growing up, when I would meet somebody from like out of town, they would be like, "Is it really like Miami Vice?" I'm like, "No."
It is what it is.
Really.
That's what marketing and that's what media and marketing does. But I can tell you, as somebody that lived in LA for 2 decades, the last place that you want to be is in Hollywood. The real Hollywood is in Burbank. or at least it was. You know, because Burbank for the longest time had NBC, which moved over to Universal Studios, and it was ABC and Warner Brothers, and they occupied a stretch in Burbank. So for the longest time, you know, and that was where everything was. Like Carson's Tonight Show was in Burbank. It wasn't in Hollywood. Hollywood, the real Hollywood is Burbank. I love Burbank. I adore the city of Burbank. Burbank, California is so awesome. It is because it's like valley, but still city. And it's kind of like a main artery into the San Fernando Valley. And you're right off of the 5. So you can go right down into Anaheim and Orange County. You're right over the hill from Hollywood. So if you did want to go to like a concert at the Hollywood Bowl or something, like Burbank, and then just Burbank is just so gorgeous. Burbank is just gorgeous. I love Burbank. Thank you.
That's like the Hollywood that I think of, like of the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, like I mean, I've been to Burbank. I've been to California several times, and that to me is, in my mind, like that old school, like vintage Hollywood is that.
Yep.
Is of that area. What I would picture. Like when I think of the, you know, of that, the heyday of Hollywood, it's that. So not anything else. I didn't like it at LA. I mean, I'll be absolutely 100% honest. I did not like LA.
Oh no, LA's gross.
All.
Miami's more gross, but LA's gross. Although it might be a tie these days. Who knows? The when I first moved to LA, I was a page at NBC at the NBC store right there in Burbank. So it's the backside of the NBC studio lot. The Bob Hope Drive was on the other side. That's where you would actually enter if you were going onto the lot. But the other side was guest relations. But guest relations also was Days of Our Lives. So where I would go in every morning, basically, I forget, what was the name of the city, the town in Days of Our Lives? I can't remember what it was. But Salem, yeah. I knew you would know that. I don't know why, but I knew you would know that.
Of course.
So anyway.
Avid Days of Our Lives watcher.
Well, Salem was where I went to work every day because all the exterior sets from Salem were part of our guest relations area. And then we would give tours, and we would always stop by Days of Our Lives. And let me tell you something about soap actors. They love to talk. So we're doing a tour, and I got, I don't know, 15, 16, 17, 18 people from the middle of the country with me, you know, pure soap-loving Midwesterners, right? Like these are the kind of people that take the tour. And we go past Days of Our Lives, and this one woman freaks out because there's some actor walking up the hallway between the two sound stages that she loves on the show. Loves them. Well, he comes up. He starts talking to us. 20 minutes later, the tour finally moves on to the next location, and she goes, boy, that guy didn't shut up. She went from being a fan to meeting the actor. It was like, oh, my God, the guy won't shut up.
Never meet your idols.
Never. I knew a guy that was a soap actor once. Got a letter. He would do soap conventions. Got a letter from a woman who was writing to the actor, not the character, the actor, and said, I don't know if you watch. So this, by the way, this is how aware they are, but yet not. Letter to the actor from the soap opera. I don't know if you watch the show, but so-and-so's been cheating on you with so-and-so. So they wrote a letter to the actor to say that the actor's character's wife is having an affair with another character in the show. They took the time to write a letter to the actor to let the actor know that his character's wife was having an affair.
Okay.
Yeah. And my first thought wasn't, oh my God, how crazy are you? My first thought was, you think he doesn't get the whole script?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of self-awareness there.
Very weird. But I digress with that because you said Burbank, and then it just took me down memory lane because when I first moved to, and this is going to be a great way to wrap this up. When I first moved to Los Angeles, I was a page at NBC Universal in those bungalows where Salem is, right next to the sets for Days of Our Lives. And I meet these two guys. One worked there, and the other one was a contemporary of mine. We were in the program together. And we would hang out, and we would just bust chops and cut up jokes and stuff. Because we had the ticket offices where we would hang out. You would answer phone calls. People want tickets for the show. You'd answer the phone. And we were bantering. And I looked at these guys, and I'm like, this should be our show. This should be our radio show. This banter we're doing right here should be our radio show. And I'm new to LA. Within 2 weeks, I am, with the help of this soap actor friend, I am at CBS Hollywood Television Studios. I am walking on the stage of The Price is Right. There's nobody around. I'm just looking at how dilapidated the set is up close, because on camera it hides everything. You know, all the sparkly trim on the sides of the sets are all styrofoam that's been chipped away over the years. I'm sure they've updated it. But at the time, I was enamored that the seats weren't raked. You know, they say, come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. There's barely an incline in the audience. Come on down looks far more of an incline on TV than it is in real life. Anyway, all of this, 2 weeks in LA, and I'm walking out of CBS Hollywood Studios, Television City, CBS Television City, with a pile of audio equipment on loan from Young and the Restless and The Price is Right's audio cage, because all the stages are right there. 2 weeks in town, and we create this radio show. Podcasting isn't a term. YouTube isn't a thing. It's 2004. And we get 5 manual phone lines. And we start this little internet radio show every Sunday for 2 hours live. We started getting calls from around the world. We were live on a little underground station called Rant Radio. There was no podcasting back then. Okay?
Right.
Podcasting came out. It took me weeks, if not months, to figure out what it was, because all it was a pre-recorded radio show. But, you know, when you already know things, and then terms like that come out, you're like, oh my God, what? And then you're like, you get intimidated, and then you're like, that's not new. You're just dumbing it down for the masses. Okay, fine. 2 years of doing this show, we got entered into a competition to become America's next shock jock. I won the competition, 2 years of doing this show in this Beverly Hills guest house with borrowed equipment from CBS, which started based off of a relationship with a bunch of people from NBC. And we win this nationwide contest, and I become the next American shock jock, America's next talk show, whatever the name was. Go down Wilshire Boulevard, a 5-minute drive from where we were doing our show, and we sit in Adam Carolla's studio on 97.1 amp radio, and we host our very first live show to all of LA, FM radio. We won. We were getting a morning show on their HD radio station. We were going to record the morning show down the street at our place and deliver it to them every day, and they were going to upload it, and we were going to become the 97.1 HD morning radio show. 2 weeks later, they went from 97.1 talk to 97.1 amp and went all pop. That's when Lady Gaga was at her height, and they just flipped the switch. So that's my story. So when we talk about the gamification that we unlocked, that's 2 decades in the making. Talking about sitting here and having a long-form conversation, still 2 decades in the making. All of the things that I am doing, all of the things that I have done over the last couple years with this audience, all of the growth that you've experienced with me, all of the things that we've accomplished, all of the achievements we've unlocked, it's because it started 2 decades ago. That's why. It's not just because I put my phone out there, hit go live, and got lucky. I've been working these things for my whole life.
Don't stop.
It's a wild ride. I appreciate you, Danny. I'm going to let you go. I just wanted to share that story.
All right, Royce. Thank you.
I need coffee. Thank you so much for everything. You're amazing.
Right back at you.
She's so sweet. Thank you for at least being on the phone and letting me feel like I was talking to somebody, because I have no steam left, Annie. No steam left. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. I'm wrapping it up early today because I am ready to pass out. Now, if you want to be a sponsor on the podcast, you can absolutely do that. Just reach out to me. There's a form on the Discord. I think we have a Discord channel of all the links. There's a question form you can submit. We have the travel form. If we don't have that on the Discord yet, we will. There'll be all of the links. So if you want to be a podcast sponsor in the new year, let me know. Ready to spice up your kitchen this holiday season? Pampered Chef has all the goodies, from spatulas and mandolins to amazing pots and pans and knives. Plus, don't miss out on small appliances like the deluxe air fryer and coffee maker to make your holiday cooking a breeze. Reach out to Colleen Herman, pamperedchef.com/PWS/Colleen Herman. Are you on vacation and the unthinkable happens? Have you been injured in an accident? Don't wait to get the help you deserve when you need it the most. At the law offices of Nicole M. Kennedy, they fight for your rights and work tirelessly to get you the compensation you deserve. They're here to guide you through every step. Call now, 305-213-5438, 305-213-5438 for a free consultation today. Last minute shipping from the parks? Go visit my friends at the UPS store located right behind the Magic Kingdom at 6526 Old Brick Road. That is my friends at the UPS store located at the UPS store located behind the Magic Kingdom, 6526 Old Brick Road. They'll help you out with last minute packing, shipping, a notary, PO boxes, whatever you need. And as always, William Bailey Travel. William Bailey's available to help you plan your trip, whether you're going to Disney or a cruise or a Disney cruise or just anywhere in the world. William provides a customizable experience at competitive rates. Check out William Bailey Travel. You can go to my website, royces.com, fill out that form, or William.bailey at academytravel.com, William.bailey at academytravel.com. And sometimes we are so worried about this life and this moment, we forget to plan for the life for those we leave behind. With no estate plan, you could be leaving those you love the most with high taxes, probate fees, and an incomplete or divided estate, and legal fights and fees. A will or trust is not just for the Rockefellers anymore. If you live in Florida, contact RK Law today to make an appointment and safeguard the future of those you love. Send an email to russell@rklawpro.com to schedule your appointment. That's russell@rklawpro.com. And folks, we're supposed to do 3 hours. We're about the hour and 40-minute mark. So I thank you for the callers, because I would have not made it this far without you. And I got to share a little insight into what has gotten me, this far prior to the TikTok side, in respect to my journey in LA with interactive TV and all these things, right? And here we are at the end of the year, getting ready to usher in 2025. And I couldn't be more appreciative of this audience, of your support, of the support of the team that I have around me. There's just some really amazing people that are backing me up. So I don't want to start naming names and leaving people out. But I'm so appreciative, and I thank you, and we'll continue this journey together. I'll go downstairs. I'll jump on the live. Give me a moment. And don't forget to follow the podcast. Don't forget to go into the profile on TikTok. There's YouTube, there's Instagram, there's Twitch, there's Twitter, the podcast Under the Influence, wherever you get your podcasts. And I'll see you next time.